let's talk about that book you want to write. Can you tell I am channeling my inner Rachel Zoe? Little Miss Caftan herself. I don't have the blonde hair, but now she's wanting me to grow my hair like all the way to the floor. Yeah, if you've been watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you are missing out. It is so fun. Hello, my name is Jessica Lemmon. I am the #1 best-selling author of Billionaires and Bad Boys. I've been writing romance novels. Well, I've been writing them since 2010, but I have been published since 2013, so that's 13 years for me. And I just wanted to sit down and have a little chat with you about why you are not finishing the book you want to write, or maybe why you didn't start it. And this isn't going to be structured into some perfect little PowerPoint presentation. I really want to talk to you from the heart about what is holding you back. Today, I had my membership call inside the Lemmon Society. We touched on belief and identity and how you show up when you're not sure about the outcome. So let me tell you a little story about how I got started. I read romance novels for about 10 years as a bit of a late bloomer, starting to read them at 21. Could I write one of these romance novels that I love so, so much? At the time, I was completely binging Harlequin romances. I did read some longer novels as well, some of the big mass markets. I would haunt a half-price bookstore because it was local to me, and I loved finding books there and at library sales. And of course, my grandmother, who got me started, gave me quite a few from her Harlequin collection to get me going. She was thrilled that I was reading her genre finally. When I said that I was going to write this romance novel and get it published, I was banking on the fact that my English teachers had told me I was a really good writer. I didn't know anyone who had ever been published. I didn't know anyone who had ever written a fiction novel. And so I did a bit of poking around. And what I found was that there were quite a lot of people around me that were writing fiction novels and that wanted to publish a book. And I found this group of people and we got together, I think once a month or every other week. I can't remember now. Maybe it was monthly, where real writers who actually had contracts would come in and talk to us about how they got published. What did this do for me that you may be lacking in your life? It gave me belief. Hearing that other people had done it, I knew it was possible for me. And knowing that this was something that really excited me was another clue that this was for me. If you've ever heard of someone be really passionate about a job you're not passionate about, let's say they're a nurse or they're a firefighter or they work in retail, there's may or may not be a part of you that perks up and says, oh, that's interesting. And if it's not interesting, that's a clue. You don't want to be a firefighter or a nurse or work in retail. Your passion lies elsewhere. But where your comparison and jealousy come in, this is what you're truly passionate about. So if you see someone get a book turned into a movie and that's really exciting to you, or if you hear me talking about how I published 48 novels with New York publishers and been self-published with my own imprint, that excites you, that is a clue. And it's not only a clue that you want to do it, it's a clue that you are supposed to do it. How about that? Have you ever considered the idea that you are built to do the things that you are most attracted to? Okay, so let's talk about why you're not finishing your book or why you haven't started it. I know you're probably thinking, well, I don't know how to do it. And there is an element of truth to that. You don't know how to do it. What's underneath I don't know how to do it is self-doubt, lack of confidence, fear that you might screw it up. We have to realize that our focus is in the wrong place. So if you are focusing on, I don't know what I'm doing and I might screw it up, you are less likely to take action in the direction of your dreams. But if you are curious instead, I'm so curious about what might happen, or I wonder how I'll figure this out, but I know I'm going to figure it out. What we're saying to ourselves is, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. One of my favorite stories to tell, and I tell it quite often, is that during this time, I was going to these meetings to hear from other authors who had made it. I was also going to my local bookstore, to the romance shelf where all the romance writers were in all their beautiful glory, to the letter L, because my last name is Lemmon. And I was following that letter L shelf all the way over until I found Laura Lee. And I would say to myself, my book's going to be right next to Laura's. I kept this vision in front of me at all times. I also recently was on a podcast interview, and we talked about the fact that I had a Post-it note on my bulletin board that said, I am a great writer. And whenever I became doubtful or afraid or wasn't sure where I was going, I would just remind myself, I am a great writer. I will figure out how to fix this chapter because I am a great writer. And I will finish this book because I am a great writer, and I will be published. Why? Because I'm a great writer. You have to instill these beliefs in yourself, but there's something in there underneath that is keeping you from doing it. Foster the belief you want. If you want to be a best-selling published author, then become her now. How do you do that? If you can't go to the bookstore and see your book, how do you become a best-selling author right this very moment? You need to go into your imagination. You need to close your eyes, and you need to access her in your mind's eye. And you need to ask her, best-selling author Jessica Lemmon, what do you do every day? And when she answers, every day I write. That's what you do. You write. You write knowing that the books are going to be finished, that the bestseller title is done, that you have built it, and they will come. When I would send a newsletter, when I first got started in this business, I would end every email with, let's make a deal. I'll keep writing if you keep reading. Because as long as I was writing for that audience that I knew was anticipating my next book, I knew I would be motivated to write that book. So if you are not picturing who you're writing for, and if you don't think anybody's watching, you're probably going to be less motivated to sit down and finish your book. And that brings me to the next part. What got me writing in the beginning was passion. And 10 years later, what stopped me from writing was creative burnout. I had written 45 books in 10 years, and y'all, I was tired. And I started telling myself stories, not stories like I used to tell myself, not stories about being a best-selling author and envisioning exactly where I wanted to be. I started telling myself stories. Maybe I've written enough books. Maybe this isn't going to be my forever career. And when that doubt creeped in, guess what? I began acting on that belief. I didn't write as much, and I didn't try to get published again, and I didn't try to do another contract. What saved me? A community. It's what helped me first get published, meeting other authors. I met my agent through one of the authors that was there. What got me from burnout to writing again, to making these videos to help you? My own community. So when I launched the Lemmon Society, I did it with the intention of connecting deeply with a community who wanted to write and finish their books. And now it has grown into a place where we have a space to write down your word count, where you're staying not only accountable to yourself, but you're staying accountable to the people in your community. You're letting them know, hey, I'm writing. This is what I'm doing. What are you doing? And you're encouraging them along the way as well. I love, love, love this space. I love sharing what I'm going through. So people inside the Lemmon Society are finding out before anybody else, what is it like to write this submission? I shared today a very intimate note I had in my pages, and I haven't shared that with anyone publicly. It's a safe space to share these things and to talk about some of our doubts and some of our concerns and to get guided through them. I'm there to encourage you and inspire you. I'm there to shine a light on what is possible for your writing career. pop in your earbuds, go for a walk, listen, and really just ingest the goodness that is there, because you need encouragement. Nobody wants to do this alone. And if you're trying to write by yourself, not the easiest thing to do, especially when you have no proof that you're going to make your dreams come true, right? You need someone to remind you that it's totally possible, that I'm no different than you. I just took different action. Please choose the belief that gives you the most power. I am a great writer. Put it on a post-it, put it on your bulletin board, your bathroom mirror, wherever it needs to be that you can see it every day. You are a great writer. And because you're a great writer, you are going to be able to not only write the book, you're going to be able to finish the book, you're going to be able to edit the book, you're going to be able to handle the notes from your editor or your future agent. You are going to be able to withstand that first 1-star review. You will make it, I swear, and the 5-star reviews will outnumber those 1-star reviews. Remember your beliefs, visualize your success, go to the bookstore, go to Target, look at the book section. Where is your novel going to be sitting? And lastly, find yourself a community that you can trust. And I invite you to join the Lemmon Society right now. We have a yearly membership offer that cannot be beat now through March 27th. When you join annually, you will get my Write for Fun course for free. It is the exact A to Z method I use to write every one of my novels. I'm giving you forms that I fill out for my characters, for my plot, everything. And you'll also get to spend some time one-on-one with me. The Lemmon Society membership itself, with those pep talks, the live Zoom calls once a month. You don't need more information. You really don't. What you need is a system and some support. So come join us inside the Lemmon Society and keep writing your book. Find that belief in yourself. I believe you can do it.